So if you're watching this video, you've probably already mastered your career, you've mastered finances, you're maybe at 4, 10, maybe even 50K a month. And because you've spent so much time mastering this one key aspect of your life, you haven't physically had the time, energy, or effort to put into mastering self. Now, I'm not saying you aren't a master of yourself. I'm talking about the internal world. My game. This is what I play. And I'm going to give you 3 steps how to overcome chaos, stress, and burnout that is holding you back from really living a free life again. Because stress, chaos, and burnout will eventually lead to things like anxiety, mental health issues, depression, all these kind of things that can really impact negatively on your current life. At the end, I'm also going to explain how you can get in touch with me so we can make these shifts in a matter of 30 days. And if you stay to the end, I've got a free gift for you while you prepare for our session. My name's Max Hindle. I'm a conversational hypnotherapist and I help you rewire your mind. Now, hypnosis is one of the most fast, efficient, and productive ways to make shifts in the subconscious, and that's where your life lies. I don't mean lies as in it lies to you, I mean that's where your life lays. Because the programs that we have in our mind is the life that we lead today. For example, the reason you speak the language and the reason you can understand English is because you were taught English. You didn't get to choose to speak English, you were given the ability to speak English. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. But hypnosis can allow you to get into the subconscious, to figure out what's in there, and so that you can have the aha moments. The type of moments that you have when you take psychedelics, plant medicines. That's why I love plant medicines, but I don't think we should be dependent on them. And this was findings through my own personal experiences, my own research, and also speaking to multiple people who have done plant medicine in the past. So the best way to get a driving license is to find a teacher who knows exactly what they're talking about so they can guide you through the process so that you can get the driving license in the most efficient and productive way. That is exactly what I do. That is my job. I am your driving instructor to help you master the internal game so that you no longer feel stress, you no longer feel anger, you no longer feel these negative emotions for a prolonged period of time. Because I'm never saying we won't feel negative emotions, because we will, and I do. Even just today I felt it. But I refuse to stay there. And even though I felt that earlier, now I feel good. Scrap that. I feel great. So my question to you is, what would your life look like if in 30 days from now you were totally free? Free of all the things that are holding you back, free of the burdens, free of the worries, free of the stress, free of the pain, free of the trauma that you've been through in your past. What would your life be like? Really understand that. Because like I said, a matter of 30 days. Finally at peace with yourself. Finally, everything is quiet again. That's where we can get you to. But let's dive into burnout, stress, and all these other underlying issues that are correlated with this. Burnout and stress are basically emotional exhaustion, feelings of cynicism, and reduced personal accomplishment. And that doesn't mean you're not an achiever. That just means you don't feel as an achiever right now. And that's okay, even though you have been an achiever in your past. And realistically, you still are an achiever. Because burnout is a result of chronic stress. And your working environment can often trigger anxious reactions. People with depression exposed to chronic stress exhibit shorter telomeres. Telomeres are basically the outer part of your chromosome in the white blood cells. Imagine it like an aglet on your shoelace. That's effectively what it looks like. I'm not going to get too much in the science here, but I'm just telling you. With increase in age, telomeres shorten. And studies have shown that with oxidative stress and inflammation, it accelerates the shortening of telomeres. Shorter telomeres have also been associated with recurrent depression and cortisol levels, indicating exposure to chronic stress. Although I do not completely condemn modern day medicine because it has helped out a lot of people, let's face it. I'm not naive to think that. But I do not think it should be the first go-to whenever we're trying to solve a problem. Because let's face it as well, it masks the pain. Eventually, one day, we're gonna have to deal with the pain of it, right? So why not make today that day so that you no longer have to suffer long term? Because there's gonna be a day where you have to uncover it. There's a day that you have to take the bandage off. And is it still gonna be a cut, or is it just gonna be a scar that you can just remember that doesn't hurt anymore? That's the goal. Because we don't want to be reliant and dependent on an external substance. And even though I'm talking about pharmaceuticals here, I also believe we should never be dependent on plant medicines as well, because it's still an external substance that is affecting us. We should be the substance that affects us. And we have the ability up here, en la mente, for anyone who speaks Spanish. So a study on the habenula, which is located in the brain, showed that the habenula is associated with the assessment on whether stress has been overcome. Because in order to overcome stress, we need to feel as if we are in control of our environment. So if we can allow ourselves to feel in control of our environment, we will reduce stress, which as a byproduct, we will reduce anxiety, fears, worries, and doubts. Let's get into the 3 steps that you can use today in order to hijack the brain and take control again. Step number 1, take control of the body with focus and intention. Now, what I mean by this, focus and intention is a way that I get someone into a state of hypnosis. Some may think that we don't have any control over our breathing, blinking, or any automatic bodily functions. But the fact is that we can consciously breathe and blink very easily by focusing our attention on it. Scientific studies show that double inhales followed by a slow, long exhale can reduce stress immediately. So what I mean by this is a double inhale is by going and then a slow exhale, double inhale, and a slow exhale. Now you see this with someone who is crying, and the body knows how to calm itself down. The question is, can you do this consciously when you're struggling mentally? And the answer is yes, it just takes practice. When you see, let's give an example of a child crying. I used to be a massive crier when I was younger. When I would cry, I would breathe in, so as I said, the body knows how to hijack itself. But can we do this consciously to help ourselves? That's the real answer. And then another quick one is diaphragmatic breathing. And that basically is where your stomach comes out, not your chest when you're breathing deeply. And imagine it like you've got your hand, or you've got a string on your hand and you're pulling your stomach out. And then you're pushing it back in. And if you want to go even deeper with this, you can focus on your blink rate as well. Because what you're doing is you're taking your focus away from everything external. Now, what I mean by this is you can do a simple process. What we're doing is we're refocusing the mind elsewhere to something that is going to help us. Rather than what's going on, something that's going to help us. So for example, if I'm staring at something, the door handle, I usually do 7 down to 1. So 7 seconds down to 6, down to 5, down to 4, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. And what I mean by this is focusing, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blink. Breathing out. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blink. Breathing out. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, blink, or blink before breathing out. But effectively what you're doing is you're going all the way down to 1. Now when you get to 1, that's where you can just blink every second in. You can start to get the pattern and the rhythm going, which again takes your mind off of everything that's going on and brings it back here, up here. That's where we want it. We don't want it everywhere else. We want it here. So multiple hypnotic inductions are actually based on eye fixation. And all that means is just staring at something very deeply. And if you've seen any of my other videos, I can put someone into a trance just by staring at them because I'm taking their focus and I'm giving it straight back to them effectively. That's the way that it works. When you focus your intention elsewhere, it goes off of what else is going around you and nothing else really matters. It's kind of like using your phone and going onto the portrait mode on the camera and getting that blurry screen behind you. That's what's happening. Please, when you're doing this, make sure you are not operating heavy machinery and you're in a safe place, ideally away from people, just so you have a place to do this where you feel safe. Sometimes we don't and we have to find a place to go and do that. I still use these techniques to this day. Number 2 is look at the things you can't control and the things you can. Because let's face it, we can't control everything in life and that's something we have to accept, period. Here's an example. You can't control the weather. You can't control whether it's rainy, whether it's sunny. But what you can control in this situation is where you live. For example, I'm from the UK and currently I'm in Mexico. Mexico is a lot sunnier than the UK. I chose to live here. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be as easy for everyone because some people have responsibilities in their countries or in their states, wherever they live, where they just can't get up and go. So that's understandable. But let's find, with this example, something we can control in the situation. Because like I said, when you gain that control, you feel, and effectively you're tricking the brain to believe that it has full control again. And when you have full control, you can make those changes much easier. So in this example, half of the situation you don't have control. You have no control over whether it rains or not. And someone may say, oh, they do a rain dance and stuff like that. They're just waiting until it starts raining. That's effectively what's happening. But they're enjoying the process of waiting for the rain rather than someone who's sitting there waiting for rain, getting annoyed because their crops are dying. They're enjoying the process. So I absolutely am a fan of the rain dance. And the third and final thing is trance work. My 3 favorites: meditation, hypnosis, and breath work. Not in any particular order, but hypnosis is my favorite, let's face it. Reason being is it's like a self-reflection. And I explained earlier that hypnosis can be like plant medicine in a way that it wipes away the analytical mind and gives you full creativity. It gives you full effectively consciousness. You're in like a hyper awareness where everything is possible and nothing is cynical. And when you start moving into these frame of minds more often, then you're going to make shifts in your life. Of course you are. I actually created a course on self-hypnosis with the aspects of breath work in order to take control of yourself. When we speak on Zoom, I can explain in more detail if you wish. Because like I said, we just want to get to that aha moment. And you can do that with plant medicines, but you don't need to take plant medicines in order to get to that aha moment. You can do it with just hypnosis. So that's what I want to offer you. In 30 days from now, as I ask you that question, what would your life be like if you were free again? You were finally at peace with yourself. What would your life really be like? Being honest. Because in 30 days from now, that could be your reality. And the way that is your reality is by filling in the application down below to see if we're a fit to work together. And if we are, then we can make these changes in 30 days. As I said, you are already successful where you are. Let's make the next leg of your life internal success as well as external success. Because the more internal success you have, the more external success you're going to get as well. Because you're already an achiever. And I didn't forget the free gift. While you're waiting and preparing for our call and our session, what I want you to do is start the 30-day to master your mind challenge. It's a free 30-day meditation challenge that gives you access to master your mind and start as a beginner meditator to become an experienced meditator in a matter of 30 days. As I said, you can get started while you're waiting and preparing for our call so that you still have something to do, because let's face it, we still need to keep the ball rolling. And when the ball's rolling, we get results. And when we get results, we start to make life-changing decisions in our life. Fill in the application, get your meditation challenge, and I look forward to working with you.